What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Russ and Mod. We're back in the truck and loaded up to get another project car. This time we're trying to go get a mid-70s Ford Maverick. I had looked at this car quite a while ago before I had gotten the Montclair, and it looked pretty okay, definitely pretty solid underneath, but I just wasn't in love with it, and he wanted quite a bit of money for it, so I told him that I'd pass and look for other projects, and I ended up finding the Montclair instead. But apparently the guy needed some money now and needs to get it gone out of the facility that it's been sitting in for many years. This is one of those interesting ones. The guy literally texted me this morning. I hadn't heard from him in months. He said, come get it, I need this thing gone. So can't refuse that. We're gonna go get it and see what this thing needs. So he's gonna need this thing gone. I guess it's been at a storage lot, not really sure what the deal is with that. It's been quite a while ago since I looked at it. From what I remember, it's a mid-70s Ford Maverick, not the desirable one with the small bumpers. It has the giant, ugly, big bumpers on it, but we'll see what we're gonna do with it. It's definitely a solid project car and is all complete, so it'd probably be pretty easy to get this thing back on the road. So let's go pick this thing up, see what it looks like. Let's get it back and see if we can get this thing running. Cool. All right. I didn't know it ran. That's cool. All right. So this is it. Here's the inside of it. So apparently it runs. I wonder if it has brakes. This is a better deal. I didn't even know it ran. Shoot. All right. He said start it up. Doesn't have brakes. Dude, it has brakes. Holy crap. No battery. Alright, so this is the Maverick. It's a 76, I guess. It's got these ugly big bumpers on it. But it does have some rust like down below. But if you can see underneath, the floors and stuff are really solid. That's kind of why I wanted it. The torque boxes and everything are really good shape. So I was pretty happy about that. And I had no idea that it ran and drove. He literally was just like, yeah, fire it up. You can drive it on your trailer. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, here's a good walk around of it. We're here at the guy's place, so trying to load up pretty quick here, but that's basically what it looks like. Greens are usually pretty cool, but this one's like yellow green. Anyway, the dome light works, headliner shot, really great green on green interior here. But that's the Maverick. So I thought it didn't run, and it does. I literally drove it, and the brakes work too. That's pretty sick. So all right, let's get this thing loaded up and back to the shop.
A few moments later.
All right, guys, we're back. So you saw us pick up that Maverick in a previous clip. So we ended up talking to that guy that we got the Maverick from. He needs all the rest of his cars gone in his lot, or he's just gonna scrap them. So we figured, we're like, man, I hate to see these cars get scrapped, even though they're not worth very much, honestly. But I mean, it would just be a shame because some of them have good parts and stuff. So we ended up getting that Buick, which really we didn't really want at all, but we ended up getting it just because of the deal. I mean, it was literally scrap value, and probably less than scrap value actually, now that scrap has gone up so much. And we actually got the Volkswagen Cabrio, and Patrick's gonna take that one on, see if we get that thing running. Apparently the Buick already runs like the Maverick does, so we're gonna get both those cars. So now we have 3 cars from this guy that ended up texting me out of the blue that we weren't really planning on getting. So we're gonna go back over there, pick up the rest of the cars, get them back here, and see what they're like. The Cabrio actually looks pretty good. The Buick is probably the worst one out of the bunch, but it's definitely the least desirable, I would say. But you know, clean it up, get it running, see what we can do with it. Like we usually do. So we're gonna go see what those cars are like, try to load them up, get on out of here, take it back to the shop, and clean them up and get them back on the road. So see what we get into on this one. Oh, this is a really crappy video, sorry guys, but it's really dark. This is this Buick, and it's kind of
Skylark.
Yeah, it's kind of junk. Oh yeah. Anyway, trying to see if it'll jump start here. It says it's getting fuel and stuff, but this is it. It's kind of a piece of junk. And then this is the Cabrio that Patrick's getting. Much nicer car, actually. It's cool. It's red with the white seats and stuff. So this one we know doesn't run, has a fuel pump that it needs.
It doesn't turn over. Well, it doesn't start it.
This one, it runs-ish, but it needs to start running. So that's the inside of this piece of junk.
Wait, where are those keys?
Those are the ones I pulled out of the ignition. It's got 2 sets. I don't know what the other ones are for. Yeah, so I'm gonna see if this thing will fire up here. What's going on in there?
The steering wheel. It's
so
gross, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick is taking the battery out of his truck so that way we can put it into this Buick. So that's gonna be a good plan to kill his truck. So that's it. I really don't think I want it very much, but that's what it is. We definitely want the Cabrio. I don't know. If this thing fires up and runs good, then I'll buy it, but if not, then I'll just leave it here. All right, got the battery. Let's hook this thing up. All right, we cannot get that thing to run. I think it needs a fuel pump or something. So the guy ended up coming down even more on the price, which was crazy. He really needs this stuff going, so gonna take it anyway. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with it, but anyway, take it back to the shop. We're gonna just winch it up on the rollback and see what we can do. right, got that piece of junk on there. Patrick is going to back the trailer up to get the Cabrio on there. Okay, so we have this Cabrio lay, and it's actually not bad.
1992.
92? Yeah, I mean, it was under $500, I will say. And then we have this car, and it was also
Under
the same price as this car. So, you know, I don't know. Anyway, we'll try to get him back. This one actually is good. Like, we'll probably try to get that running. Yeah, check out the inside. Oh, perfect clearance. Yeah.
It's just a white on red.
White on red. It's actually pretty cool. You know, so that's pretty neat. Mint.
Hey.
Good. And then that one is not mint, and I don't like it. But you know, what are you gonna do?
Hey, be honest about it.
Yeah, I don't like that car, but I like this car, so we had to get both. All right, here's this garbage Buick, honestly. Definitely rotted. You know, it has a radio. It's probably worth more than the car. But yep, that's it. So you'll probably see this flying through the air very soon. Anyway, we're going back to the shop and figure out what we're going to do with these two cars.
Yeah, take a long, deep thought. What we just did.
Yeah, honestly, that guy needed to get out of this yard like really fast, so we felt bad, and so we just were like, all right, we'll just buy the cars because he needed them gone. So
We'll just tell ourselves that.
he kept coming down on price every time we did something, so we just we're like, okay dude, we'll whatever. So all right, let's get back to the shop now. So when we went to go get the Maverick, we ended up meeting the guy that owned it, and he owned a whole lot, and he said that he was gonna scrap all these cars that he had. And I was like, man, if you're gonna scrap them, I mean, we get cars running, you know, we don't hate to throw stuff away like that, especially older stuff. And I know these cars aren't the most desirable years, but still, I mean, there's good parts. At least somebody could use the parts off of them rather than him scrapping them. So we saved that Cabrio that Patrick ended up getting, and I think he's gonna actually keep that car. I'm not gonna be 100% sure, I won't speak for him, but I think he's kind of fallen in love with it, and we might see that on the channel coming up here soon. So that'd be cool. And we also got the Buick that you guys saw. So we're gonna try to get that Buick running. It's not my favorite car, and I really didn't want the car at all. We tried to get it running there, as you saw, and it's rough. I mean, it's a rough car. But you know, I mean, if we're a YouTube channel, we can do fun stuff. We can jump it, or I don't know, do burnouts and stuff. So it's nice kind of having a car that you don't really care much about. But hey, I mean, it might end up turning out to be a good car. Get it running and driving, and see how bad it is. So we'll try to get this thing running real quick, see what it does, and if it runs good, then you know, we'll get it back on the road too. I mean, not that it's really road worthy. It does have some rust, so I'll give you guys a look around at the Buick now that it's light out. So here's the underneath of it. You can see a little bit better now that it's on the rollback too. So kind of like the Maverick, it has some rust in the fenders, the doors, and then right here, I mean, it's pretty bad, you know. Bondo rusted under the trim there, the back's rotted. So the floors aren't horrible and stuff, so you know, maybe I keep talking bad about it, but it maybe not too bad. I mean, there's definitely worse cars out there. All right, on the passenger side, starting to rust in the fender, door starting to rust here. Sure, that's covered with Bondo. And then you have this, which is probably the worst spot, except for when you see this, and then you're like, no, that's the worst spot. Anyway, so I mean, it needs an extensive amount of work, and the car is not valuable enough to put the extensive amount of work into it. All right, and I'll give you guys an update on the Maverick also that we got. So the Maverick, it was kind of a weird situation because I didn't really expect that it just ran and drove. I was gonna do a video of getting it running and stuff because apparently it's been sitting there for like 2 years. Anyway, you put gas in it and it fired right up, but I might just get it back on the road, clean it up and stuff, and pass it on. So we'll see what we're gonna do with this thing. We literally got it, put it on the trailer. It drove onto the trailer, which I thought was pretty crazy. I had no idea that it drove that well and ran that well. But here's a little bit better look at it now that it's daylight. On the bottom of these fenders, on both sides, it has rust here. It doesn't look like it's through the body or anything like that. It just looks like it's the fender itself. So there's that. And then on the back, this back piece has some rust here. And other than that, I mean, it's a pretty straight car. Doesn't really have any other rust underneath. It's very solid underneath. That's kind of why I wanted to get it. It has a little bit of rust there. That side's pretty good. And then the bottom of the fender like the other side. So anyway, you know, just a cool little project for the channel. It's the next day. Last night, couldn't get this thing running. Almost lit it on fire. Guy dumped a bunch of gas in it and stuff. And anyway, we just kind of gave up on it. So gonna see if I can get it running a little bit better. I put a battery in it and see where we left off. I mean, it would pop and run for a second, but from what it looks like, you can kind of hear the accelerator pump has a little bit of gas in it and it doesn't sound like it's full. So maybe I just need to crank it some more because it sounded like it ran, but it just didn't run long enough. So gonna try to crank it, see if I can figure it out. And hopefully this thing runs halfway decent because I don't need this car or want it. All right, let's stick the key in it and see if it'll do something. All right, so it seems to be running off of carburetor cleaner, but the accelerator pump is doing something, but it's not, I'm not convinced that it's full of gas. So the gas gauge is on E, and I'm gonna pull this fuel line off, put like a water bottle on it, just to see maybe it's pumping really bad gas, or it could be pumping no gas or very little gas, and it could just be out of gas. I'm gonna try that and go from there. So I got a water bottle here. I'm gonna stick over the end of the line and see if any gas comes out. All right, yeah, so there's no gas coming out of our fuel pump. So now we either have a blockage or fuel pump or fuel tank is filled with junk, or it doesn't have any gas in it. So I guess step one would be check if there's gas in it, put a little bit of fuel in it, and then see if it pumps. So let's try that. Okay, I put some fresh gas in the tank. Got our water bottle filled up, so let's check out if it pumps any gas. Could be a plugged fuel filter or anything like that, so we'll see. Let's try it. Hey, we're pumping some gas. Man, that pumped quick. All right, cool. You can see how gross that gas is. It's like orange juice. So at least we know that our fuel lines aren't plugged up and the gas tank isn't plugged, but it has some gross gas in it. It definitely, actually the gas that I put in it is probably the only gas it has. It's just really dirty from what I just put in it, or the gas, the junk in the tank, I don't know. Anyway, well, at least it's pumping, the fuel pump works and stuff. It said that it was low on gas, so I assume that the gauge works, but I didn't put that much gas in it, maybe 2 gallons. Now, I know if this was the Mercury or something where it's completely plugged, I would go through the whole fuel system and everything, but this car is really bad. I mean, it's junk, so I'm not really that concerned with it. Just want to see if the motor runs. So I'm gonna see, it'll probably fire off that old gas, so let's just try to hook it up, see if it'll fire. If it runs decent, or if it runs without the assist of starter fluid, then we'll put some fresh gas in it and get it running a lot better. But just for testing purposes, I want to see if it'll fire off this junk gas, because there's no sense of putting more money into this thing. Okay, got our fuel line patched up real quick there. So now I'm gonna try to fill the carburetor up with that junk gas, see if it'll pop, do something off that thing. So we'll test that out. Maybe it'll run. If it runs, at least I know I have a functioning engine. Well, it kind of ran there for a second. There it goes. There it's going. I wonder if it's just super low on gas. Now we know that it runs. That's good. So now we don't have to, it doesn't have rod knock, or I don't have no idea the oil pressure. There's no oil pressure gauge, but it's not blown up, so we have oil pressure, I think. All right, well, now I got this Buick running pretty good. I mean, it definitely needs a tune up and stuff, and obviously we have gross, however long this car's been sitting. I think he said it was sitting 4 or 5 years when he got it. So before then, I think he buys cars from auctions and stuff, so who knows how long it was sitting. Since then, the dash, it says 2010, so maybe it was 10 plus years, I don't know. Anyway, let us know what you think we should do with this thing. I don't know what we should do, but if you guys have any options, or if you guys have any recommendations or what, put them down below and we'll see what we're gonna do with this thing. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, help the channel out, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for watching.